Hello, fellow simmers. It's Dingle here, and I hope you're having a super dingly day so far. I know I am. Today, I am going to be doing a speed build of a tiny home. Now, I have been just recently obsessed with the idea of tiny homes. And actually, this build became it's not like the one on wheels that's like 100 square feet and you can literally fit like one person and a cat in. Maybe not the cat, maybe the cat would be too cramped. Maybe the litter box would stink up the place. Either way, it's not as like tiny as I wanted it to be, but I was thinking of different things. If you've seen my other playlist, the Let's Play Sisters Part 1, this would be, and check it out if you haven't seen it, but this would be the house that I'm going to move the Kale sisters in, take on life together as sisters. It's going to be fantastic. But I love HGTV, and I just recently started watching House Hunters, but it's called Tiny House Hunters, and it's just that movement of wanting to, downsize to literally just enough space that you need. Some people usually go by the rule of like 100 square feet per person, and which is so small. I'm not sure if I could do it, but after seeing the way that these tiny houses are laid out and like all of the efficiency of all the space, I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued, but at the same time, I know the first night I would spend in there, I would be like, okay, I'm out. Like, claustrophobia to the max, can't handle it, but I don't know, it would be fun. But so anyway, they started I got through all the episodes of Tiny House Hunters. There were like 3, to be fair to myself. There were like only 3, and I then moved on. It was like, oh, recommended for you. And yes, this is Netflix. And it was like, recommended for you, Tiny House Builders. And I was like, hey, I want to see how they build these things. I want to see what goes into this. And it just clicked. I was like, I think the type of house that I want, since it's like my most recent obsession for the Kale sisters, would be a tiny home. Except the problem is these tiny homes are normally for like 2 people max. Although I did see this Tiny House Hunters. These people literally had 4 kids and they moved to a tiny home. It was ridiculous. All of the people on the loft that they'll usually put the beds up on a loft to just conserve space on the lower level. They put all people sleeping there. And at the end they start going, oh, this is really great. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, this loft is so great. And I'm like, I would walk into that and be like, are you kidding me? I'm sure they've got to be acting like they've got to be paid actors. There's no way that they'd be excited to be like, oh, we're all so cozy. We hate the lifestyle of, that modern lifestyle of not spending time together, so we want to all sleep in the same loft. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, so this house, and it really is the structure that you're seeing right now, that I did. So there was that sort of deck area that you're seeing with those columns. So the pool's off to the right, and I just thought it would like a little tiny pool for a little tiny house, entertain people, etc. I did choose Windenburg because you'll see in a second, this view is amazing. And the point of tiny homes is choose like the best location to put your tiny home, and then you don't have to spend too much money on it, and you can just live out, live free, etc. So that was the point of this. And so I was like, oh, little tiny pool, little tiny entertainment, little tiny house, little tiny porch, little tiny stairs, tiny everything. I'm going to have tiny people. It's going to be great. What I did is literally that layout that you're seeing right now is the house. There's no upstairs. I almost did a loft, but then I decided, no, it actually didn't need a loft. I'm just going to make 2 tiny bedrooms for my tiny house and my tiny pool and my tiny lot. It's going to be awesome. I love everything tiny. I love tiny things. But back to my concern, I was like, oh my gosh, the Kale sisters, there's literally 3 of them. But I figured I can make, whether I was going to do a loft, I think I tried it at one point, which you guys will see, or maybe not. But I just decided like two little bedrooms, all they literally need, and this is the point of a tiny home, is sitting area, little kitchen, bathroom, and then beds, just places where you can put beds. So that's sort of what you'll see here. And what I'm going to put a link to the video where I got this idea from. One of my favorite YouTubers, professional simmers, I like to call her, is her name is Deligracy on YouTube, and she had this idea of doing this little canopy, and what she does is she makes those structures, the ones right there, like the white things, and eventually you'll see what I did with them, and Deligracy sort of taught me how to do that, and maybe I'll make a video to show you, or I'll just put the link. I'll put the link below. But I did speed this part of the video up a little bit because I could not figure out roofing. Roofing is just the bane of my existence. I used to just make houses, and then in The Sims 3 you can do that flash roof where you literally click it and it does an automatic roof for you, and if anything was off you can just change it. It's not a big deal. But I was like, what I was trying to do, and I wish I could show you if this wasn't a speed build, but what I was trying to do is that porch area is supposed to have a roof over it, but the roof itself isn't like a full-on roof. Like, it doesn't have walls. It literally is just like an overhang, but it's a slanted overhang. So it's not a roof. It doesn't have the walls that a roof, like a triangle roof, comes with. It's literally just like it's just that roof part without that gray triangle that you see right there, without the gray triangle. And so it's cool, like the main house part that's not the one on stilts right now, has a main roof, but then with the walls, like the gray part, like the wall thing, but then the wall thing disappears over the canopy, so it's just literally like an open concept roof. And I was trying to do that, and I figured it out. I was like, oh, I just want to do a it's a very slight slant, like what you're seeing there. It's supposed to be a very slight slant, slant. Say that 3 times quickly. And I couldn't figure out, and these, so I was going to cut out my roof struggles, but I just wanted to show you, everybody has struggles. Mine's roofing. It just wasn't working, and it's like the most simplest idea ever. And so I was doing half walls. I wonder, can you, and maybe you guys can help me out, can you put half walls? Can you put roofs on half walls? Because I couldn't figure it out, what I was going to do. So what I'm doing here is like, okay, I'll settle for this, and that's that. But then literally what you see there is, okay, that second half is supposed to be roofed too, but just without the wall part. And it's supposed to be slanted and everything. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to just ditch my original idea, and I'm going to just start making it pretty, because this is my favorite part of builds, is just the little details. I do not enjoy the general layout of everything, but I do love these general. I do love when you have the structure finally and you're like, oh, nice, finishing touches, it's going to be fantastic. So what you're going to see soon is what I learned from Deligracy, and again, I'll link to her video, or I'll tag her, or however you do this on YouTube, but you use the little cheats, and I'll link to her channel just for you to see. But first you need your objects, your move objects on, so it's BB, move objects, and then first you do Control-Shift-C in order to have the cheat window pop up, and then you do BB, move objects, bb.move objects, and you can literally just move objects, and it just gives you such freedom. And I have an example of another thing, like it lets you overlay things that you wouldn't be able to overlay because it's like, oh, you can't intersect objects. Well, nope, not with BB move objects. You can intersect anything you want, and it just gets those creative juices flowing, and I love it. I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed. So another thing about tiny houses that I think that just drew me in was the ability on a lower budget to just the features of the house. Like, there's not a lot of, like, you know, this could be a starter home technically for, you know, a sim moving in, which it will be for my sisters, my Kale sisters. It's going to be awesome. But you just have so much more budget in order to do really cool things like all of these windows. And just light. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, because it's so tiny, what usually architects, when they're building these things, want to do is allow for a ton of light to come in, because it just makes the space feel bigger. And usually when you're going for a tiny home, you're doing it you budget for a tiny home, and then you, in your budget, the lot is in there too. So you buy your land and you build your tiny home on it. and it's like the perfect combo. So it's like, it's a combination of budget conscious, wanting to live life more freely, travel more, focus on the important things in life. Location, location, location. But yeah, with move objects, you can see it. Like, I easily could have overlapped those windows, but it wasn't working for me. So I tried a bunch of different styles. But you'll see I use it also like by the pool. What The Sims 4, at least in the packs that I have currently. Maybe you guys can tell me if something like this exists in other packs. Maybe perfect patio stuff. I might have to check that out. But I wanted lounge chairs by the pool, like those tanning chairs, and I couldn't find any that were exactly like that, where you literally lie down and like soak up the sun. And so with move objects, I was able to find a chair or a bench or something, and then overlay something to make it look like you lay down on a pillow on it or something. So I just love that cheat. I love it. Again, BB move objects. And it's just awesome. And then another cheat that I used, I think, well, first you have to do testing cheats enabled, just to make sure that all your cheats are going to do. But then also what I did on the front of that house, look, that's where I did the move objects too. I was overlaying those windows. But with those plants, and again, something that I learned from Deligracy was just being able to layer things and like put things wherever I wanted. And those plants obviously are like one square usually just like one square inch or whatever like they used to measure here, but one of the squares. But with the keys, the brackets, so if you're looking on your keyboard, mine's next to the P, and sort of near the delete button. I'm on a Mac laptop right now, but the bracket, so like the right bracket, it can increase the size, and then if you want to decrease the size, it's the left bracket, and which is just so cool. If a chair's too little, or I usually do it with decorations. I don't know how Sims would interact with like a custom sized object yet, but usually decorations I do that. And there I am trying to figure out what I want to do with the lounging chairs, but watch, I had this spark of genius. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started looking for throw pillows. And The Sims 4, at least here, doesn't have like throw pillows you can put on anywhere quite yet. But so I was like, hey, these look like pillows. So what I did there was I didn't have to increase the size, but I did use, in order to change the height of the objects, I'd used the characters or the numbers 9 to increase the height of the object. And you can go back down to 0. But what you can't do, so with the brackets cheat, what you can't do is you can increase the size and then you can decrease the size, but you can't decrease the size tinier than the actual object originally was, which I was bummed about because I was like, oh, tiny home, gonna make everything tiny and everything's gonna be super tiny spectacular, but it didn't work. Oh, and there's my like white turtle. I was so excited. It's so cute. So cute. I'm just putting some light in there. I think I wanted to put, in like this build, I'm going to do probably a two-parter. This one's just like the structure, and you'll get to see just the build of it and the, just structural build around it. And then I'm going to show you, it got a little bit long, so I'm just showing you like the structure of it, and then my next thing will be decor. I know I went into a little bit of the decor. I can't help it. That's like my favorite part of builds, but besides like windows and the details. But I'm going to show you just a little bit of like the outside and the color palette I chose, obviously the windows, and then the deck. But then the next part will be all interior and decor, which I'm excited about. And so now, I was struggling with my color choices because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do, a lot of the tiny homes have, because they're very like, it's all about like sustainability and the natural, there we go, yeah, like the natural, like what you can get in your environment all around you. So I was like, oh, do I do paint? Do I do brick? Do I do wood? And normally it's all wood with like really funky colors. So I was like, oh, nice, light blue, brick, wood on top. Do I want to separate them? And I was struggling because I was like, oh, I kind of want to have like a dynamic flow to it. I kind of wanted to have, wood on top and something different on bottom, like brick or something. And you can see I tried a bunch of stuff. Didn't really like it. And I think what I ended up doing, see, I do like greens, and I love the green windows on that top little canopy thing. So I wanted to tie in that on the bottom. But, in the end, and I liked that brick. Now I'm looking at it and I kind of like that brick. But I think what I did was went with all wood, and I love that look. I love it. It's very like modern-ish, but still natural wood. And I'm going to choose a deck right there. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I probably will tweak some things in my next speed build, but I'm just really excited. Yeah, it's like literally a little triangle of heaven. It's so cute. And like the view, you'll just see it in a second. I love it. And I'm really excited about it. Oh, there we go. I do like that deck. I was going between like normal, just poured concrete, but I don't know. So I've got a pool, and then here's my roof again. The bane of my existence, roofing. So I chose that, fifth in from the left on the top row. I chose that first, and you can see me going between all of these different options. There's like aluminum and different roofing, and then I literally end up going back to my original choice, which I always do. Once I set on it, I'm like, oh, I just love it. But yep, see? And I'm like, you know what? I love it. Just leave it, Mac. But yeah, just giving you a tour. So that's my beautiful view, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my this tiny home build, this speed build that I did for you real quick. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you guys for the decorative portion. Again, my name is Dingle. Please subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. I hope you guys continue to have a super dingly day so far. Thanks, guys. See you later.